Hey guys, Free here, and today I'm gonna be telling you another story about the summer camp from last time. If you still haven't watched that video, there will be a card to it popping up on the top right of your screen. Before I start this story, I want you to subscribe to my channel. If this video pops off and all of you subscribe, I can finally make YouTube into a career. YouTube is my dream job. I really enjoy editing videos and uploading them. In order to make this dream a reality, I need at least 1,000 subscribers. I believe that we can do this. So now, welcome back to your regularly scheduled content. As I stated previously, I'm going to be telling you about a cult that Ben and I started in that same summer camp. First off, I would like to introduce you guys to some of the members of the cult. The first member is Ludwig from last time. You might be wondering why we invited him if we didn't like him. The reason is because every single cult needs a scapegoat, and he was ours. If anything happened, we would always point our fingers to him, and he would be in trouble. We fought things through thoroughly in order to make sure that we could cover our asses using Ludwig in all situations. The next member is a kid named Peter from our cabin. He was this really funny Italian guy. The last two members from our cabin were Ben and I, because we were the ones who created the cult. There was also a few other members who were outside of our cabin, and those were typically the kids who were younger than us, specifically guys. And you might be wondering what purpose they served. Well, many of them served as unwilling sacrifices to our cult activities. At this point, you're probably wondering, what exactly were our cult activities? And why did we need sacrifices? Well, in order to understand that, you have to realize the layout of our camp. All of the boys' cabins went down a road that extended out of the dining hall, and we were at the end of that road because we were the oldest kids. So we decided as a group, Ben, Ludwig, Peter, and I, that we would pull a few pranks on the younger kids. But the problem that we had with this is that camp rules made it so you could not prank each other, and we knew that if we did it, that we would get in trouble. So together, the four of us, the greatest scientific minds in the whole entire camp, created a way to prank the kids, not directly, like for example changing their shampoo or messing with their stuff, in a way so that we wouldn't get in trouble, even if they decided to narc on us. Our idea revolved around the premise that we would wear something called a headdress, which is a new fashion in clothing which we created for our cult. In order to get your own headdress, you don't have to have a lot of money or anything much. Really, all you need is any random t-shirt that you don't really care about stretching. So basically, you would grab onto the back of your shirt and then you would put it over your head. It's not that complicated, but if you look at yourself while having a headdress on, you would realize how creepy it looks and just how funny it would be if we went around pranking kids looking like this. Operation Headdress was underway. One night, Peter, Ben, and I go out of our cabin wearing our headdresses and go down the road towards the younger boys' cabins. And then we decide to go in between one of the cabins just to hang out and make some jokes and laugh a little bit at the way that Peter looks. The thing that was so funny is that when Peter puts on his headdress, he actually starts slouching down, and he looks like a troll because he's just really short and his face contracts and he has the shirt on top of his head, and it just looks extremely funny but also scary to somebody who isn't expecting it. So I'm sure that you can already tell, but we failed our mission. We went in there hoping to scare some kids, but obviously that is impossible if they are already sleeping inside of their cabin. So we start filing out onto the main road again from between the cabins. And then we hear a loud scream coming from behind us, and something that sounds like a gunshot. That's how loud it was. We turn around and we see a counselor in training. He has two gigantic arms, and he was carrying 2 jugs of water over to his cabin, and he dropped them probably because of the shock he felt after seeing Peter. That's how scared he was. It turns out that CIT was actually really chill, and he asked us while we were walking around like that, and he got a good laugh out of it after we told him what our plan was. He actually ended up getting in trouble because of us. The counselors of the younger kids' cabins came out and they yelled at him because he made so much noise while the kids were trying to sleep. He made it so that we weren't involved at all, and that was very nice of him because we could have been kicked out of the camp completely if any blame was put on us. So far at this point, we are already 5 minutes into the video, and it isn't quite clear why I called it a cult, because from what I've said so far, it sounds a lot like just some teenagers pulling a few pranks on some people, and then an accident where we happened to prank the wrong person. But believe me, it is way more than that. This situation happened to escalate a lot because of Peter. He really wanted to prank those kids, and our first plan failed, so we knew that we couldn't do it again. So we had to make up a new one. This new plan required the assistance of our friends from a cabin next to ours. Basically, we had 2 full cabins of older kids convincing younger kids into joining a cult. They would join in the form of an educational curriculum designed by Peter, Ben, and I, where we would teach them such wondrous things as 1. The earth is flat, 2. The sun doesn't exist, and 3. The moon is the biggest colony on the earth. Obviously, you can see a general trend in these educational material that it gets stupider and stupider as it goes on. And we actually had to make up stuff that was even dumber than the moon being the biggest colony on the earth, because some kids actually got convinced in that. Unfortunately, camp ended before we could convince the whole entire next generation that they should be part of the cult. I don't think that this cult will live on. I would say that it's even dead right now. But you guys can work on making it not dead. If you want to prank somebody, you can take the ideas that I've made and use them as your own. Just make sure that it is all lighthearted and in good fun. I don't want anybody getting in trouble, and obviously this whole entire thing, when I did it, was a joke, and you should make it a joke as well if you plan to do it. In a time of self-isolation and quarantine, doing something funny that you enjoy, that will make you happy, is really important. So if this makes you happy, then I encourage you to do it. I can't even imagine what those parents must have been thinking when their kids come back from summer camp and start talking about how the earth is flat, the sun doesn't exist, and that the moon is the biggest colony on the earth, let alone other stuff that we might have taught them. I just feel really bad for those parents.